Welcome, Dadas all over Kenya and East Africa. Thank you for watching KBC Channel 1. It's 4 o'clock, it's Sunday, and you're on the Dadas show. Have you ever wondered about the fact that we are all struggling with masculinity and struggling with why it seems that the boy child is struggling? Today I've invited Keith, and we'll be joined by Anne, his wife. Keith, you're very welcome to the show.
Thank
this
you.
I know you know that this is a ladies' show. It's called Dadas, yeah?
Yes. I was quite surprised I was invited for the show.
Okay.
So I looked around and wondered, okay, what made her think I'm supposed to be on the show? But I'm thankful I'm here.
Okay.
Yes.
So Keith, tell us a bit about yourself.
My name is Keith. I'm a believer. Got recently married, and I'm very passionate about young men and mentorship and discipleship. Yeah, my priorities in life are God, people, books, and music.
What?
God, people, books, and music. I'm also a music producer. I'll send you some of my
I think
links.
that is so, okay, I never had God, my wife. Why not God, my wife? Why people? It should be God, my wife, people, then what else?
And music.
Other people. It should be God, my wife, then eventually my family, then others.
So people, at the beginning of the category of people, she's the one who opens the chapter.
Okay,
Yes.
and then children.
God, people, books, and music. So people has wife, children. I don't have
Let me
children
tell you,
yet.
Keith, within
Yes.
a few years,
Yes.
you have to change that category.
Yes.
Your wife will get offended. You know, you are newly married.
Yes.
She's just persevering.
Okay.
Very soon she'll come home and she'll be like, I don't want to hear about people. I want to hear God, me,
Okay.
the kids, then other people, then other things. I don't want to hear. Anyway, you are newly married. Anyway,
Yes,
so Keith, the reason I invited you is because I think recently there was a recent statistics that all over the world that masculinity is challenged. For a long time, we thought it was just Kenya. We complained about Kenyan men and we said bad things about them. And then we realized that recently I was reading somewhere that in Australia, and I think in the UK, studies have been commissioned to understand what is happening with masculinity all over the world. Because it seems that men are no longer masculine. They seem to have lost the concept of being masculine, or whatever that means. Do you have any comment to this before I ask you other questions?
Yes, it's been coming for a long time. With the absence of fathers, men have grown up looking to their mothers as the images of what it means to be a man. And people become what they behold. So what you grow up seeing is what you believe is the definition you get to pick up. So if the only authority figure you see is mom, and mom wakes up at a certain time, talks in a certain way, responds in a certain way, and you grow up seeing that, then you get to pick that up as the default of how you'll grow up. So the issue we're having with men, it's more of a fatherhood problem than it is a masculine problem.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you yourself had the same experience. What changed that, or what was your experience as a child? Was a man who was brought up by a single parent as a mom?
Okay. First of all, my story is a story of God interfering with the statistics.
Amen to that.
Yes.
Amen to that. That's why you are seated here, isn't it?
Yes.
You would be part of the statistics. You know that, Keith?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It's God tampering with the statistics and the script and saying, I'll tamper with this so that I can use you to fix the problem. And so I grew up with a single mom back in, I can proudly say, late 80s.
Late 80s? You are so young.
At least the sound 80s bad though. You know, with the generation of guys who...
Late 80s, that's just the other day.
Yes, that's the other day. Yeah, so now grew up with a single mom. So also at some point my stepdad came into the picture.
Okay.
So, and then at some point they also got divorced.
Okay.
So my mom has continually been a central figure, and my uncles, my mom's brothers, really played a huge role in shaping the man I am.
Okay.
And the thing that my uncles did is that they modeled to me godliness, masculinity from a godly perspective, so that even though I grew up seeing my mom, I had men around mom who used to tell me, young man, this is in Kisii, it's yeah, you don't do this, yeah, pick that thing up. So that's how my story, in summary,
Okay.
was tampered with my God through my uncles and the church setting. Yeah.
Okay. I think my question would be, if it had not been tampered with, what do you think your life would have been like as a single man being brought up as a young man being brought up by a single mother?
To begin with,
what were some of the things that, looking back now, you think that was actually a God intervention, because had not been an intervention, this was the path I was going?
Yes. You know that there are stages of masculinity.
Okay.
There's boyhood, which is from mostly from 0 to 9 years. And then there's superhero, which is around from 8 to, they usually
sometimes they, depending on the situation, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's superhero, which is from 8 to 12, and then from 12 or 15 sometimes. So from 12 to 22 is a stage called warrior, and then from 23 is when a young man begins to desire to be in a relationship. That's lover stage, and then from lover up to until 35, 40 is king stage, the kingly stage, and then from 40 to 55 is when a man, there's a stage called sage, where a man now is a granddad, now mentoring the other men in the other different stages. So my life would have been tampered in all of the stages. I believe now in the stage, I'm at the stage where I'm doing more kingly mentorship, because it's mentorship. I'm more of a king than I am a warrior and a superhero. I'm more in the stage of a king where I'm leading people. So if God had not tampered with the script, each of those stages would have come with the wounds of their own.
Okay.
For example, at the boyhood stage, I would have grown up with rejection, further wounds of the absence of dad that would have led to rejection. At the stage of superhero, where I'm desiring for adventure, I would have now really pursued adventure for the sake of adventure and getting into trouble and causing chaos for the sake of it. Okay, the stage of warrior, I would be now fighting every other person and getting into clubs. And I have a friend who told me, if you got saved, then God is real. Because if without God, without even beer used to be high yourself, unge ukienda club ungeuliwa kwa sababu you're an influencer, and you'd have really tampered with people's girlfriends as an adventure, just to prove a point and to make a point. So if God had not tampered or come into the picture, each of those stages would have come with their own versions of wounds. And because I wouldn't know what's happening, I'd continue to search for something and try to get it from the wrong sources. So as I said at the beginning, I'm simply seated here because God is an amazing father.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool right there.
Yes.
I noticed that a lot of people, a lot of mothers, when we bring up children, especially boys, we tend to be very loving. Especially if you're a single mother, you tend to go the extra mile to be a little more loving, a little more gentle, a little more, we're trying to do a little more, almost to compensate for the fact that the father is missing. Is that a good idea?
It's natural. It's natural for a mother to want to nurture. And it's helpful at the beginning stages of a young man's life. But at some point, there comes a time when he needs to now go out there and learn how to survive and fight and to be a defender, because he's going to take care of someone's daughter. So it's helpful. God intended for it to be that way, because the first person that a son, or when you get born, when life begins, your mom is the first person you interact with in the womb. And for 9 months, it's only mom, and for quite a while, even after you leave the womb, you're still with mom. But at some point, someone needs to take you up and begin to now initiate
At what
you.
point should that be? At what point should a mother and a son sort of begin to disengage?
Going by a biblical precedent, and it's very much in line with the 844 system. Age 12, it's around age 12 where most children move from class 8 to Form 1, and it's very transitionary. So 12, by 12, a young man mom should now release that young man and say, you know what, it's time for you to now go out there and fight. And actually, I think it was around the same age at 12 where Jesus went to Jerusalem.
To the temple.
Yes, and just got lost and
he
said,
got lost for 3 days.
Yes. And when the mom is complaining, where were you? Like, hey, excuse me, I was doing my own work. I was busy with my own agenda. So if mothers don't understand that at around age 12, where a young man is moving from being a boy, cuddly, to an adventurous person, there'll be conflict. There'll be conflict of desires and interests. He has this innate desire to go out and kill something, conquer something, but mom still wants him around the house. In the same way that when a child is in the womb and they overstay, they end up endangering the life of both the mother and the child. If you, as a mother, a mother keeps the child too long, a son too long next to them, the relationship becomes toxic because he wants to go out, she wants him close. And that's where fights begin. Yes, that's what I'd say.
Okay.
Yes.
When we go to the superhero stage, I really like the fact that you've put them in stages, because I think this would be really useful for our dadas here. So in the superhero stage, what are young men doing?
Okay, the 3 levels of adventure. There's crucial, I'll explain them. There's crucial, there's critical, and casual. The casuals are, I was able to steal and no one got me. I was able to throw something at the teacher and the teacher didn't notice who that was. It's mostly mischief. That's casual.
And jumping over other people's gates, stealing trees, stealing fruits from people's trees, you know, fruits from climbing trees. You know, just all kinds of mischief. And that's where cartoons really appeal. I won't mention names, but the cartoons that really appeal to that nature in a young man were coming up with really ingenious ways of tricking the system and hacking. That's where video games really matter a lot. Appeal to young men. Unless a parent understands that the nutrient at superhero stage is adventure, you'll see video games and cartoons as childish. Unless you introduce now more advanced or more mature adventures, you can't tell a child, stop playing. You must show him how to play better. Okay? So, yeah, there's casual, and then there's crucial. Okay, let me start with, crucial. Crucial is what would be helpful if you got it done. Okay, for example, learning how to maybe make your bed properly, dress up properly, it would be helpful. Okay, that's crucial. But now critical, if you don't do it, you are in danger. And that's where it's critical that a parent allows, a mom allows the child to go into the world and begin to learn how to live with other men. It's critical. It's neither casual or crucial. It's critical. Because it's going to be a social skill, isn't it?
Yes. You require this to survive in the world. Whether you know how to tie your tie
or not, you
can get away with it. Whether you've learned how to play PlayStation or not, you can still get away with it. But if you don't know how to keep time, if you don't know how to respect authority, if you don't know how to follow instructions, if you don't know how to be disciplined and follow the discipline, those are now critical. I can give a quick story. There's a lion called the liger. It's a crossbreed between the lion and the tiger, and it's
it's white.
Yes,
I've heard about it. Absolutely white or something like that.
And extremely huge. But now here's the danger or the problem with it. It can't survive in the real world. It can only stay in the orphanage and be given food. So a lot of parents are raising ligers in their homes because it's a crossbreed of so many things that are not required to make a young man survive in the real world. What do I mean? A son breaks something, instead of him paying up for his mistakes, it's replaced. The world doesn't work like that.
It's true.
So there's also lions that are raised in the orphanage. They can't survive in the real world because when they're hungry, food is presented, meat. Okay? So if that lion was...
And the meat has been skinned.
Yes.
Remember, they don't know how to run for the meat. They don't know how to put the antelope down. They don't even know how to skin.
Yes. So now if to put that lion in the real world and then a buffalo passes by, it won't know what to do.
Absolutely.
It won't see food. It will see another animal. So if young men grow up in an orphanage called home too long, they'll go out here and see a problem, they won't see a business opportunity. Because every time they needed airtime, mom provided airtime. So when they leave campus or they leave home and they've studied they're not 23, they've never fixed anything, they've never taken responsibility, critical adventures. So they're out here and someone needs an umbrella, it's raining, there's a shop selling umbrellas. They can't see the connection. Mom, sina bus fare. So how can that young man, if you put a girl under the care of that young man, that girl is in trouble.
Yeah. Do you think that thinking about especially when young men in the olden days, when a young man became, when he underwent a certain rite of passage, there was no connection with his mother. It was almost severed. Like, it was now time for you, I think, then to go into the next stage. It was a warrior.
Yeah.
Go kill something. Go do something with your life. Go and prove that you are a man.
Before you get married.
Before you marry.
Yes.
You cannot be given anybody's
daughter.
Prize daughter.
Yes.
Unless you prove something for yourself.
Yes.
So in that time, that was what we did. Or
Yes.
that was what was the African tradition. Today, what does that mean? Because you see, today, the truth of the matter is a young man will go to secondary school, go to college, and then come back home and look for a job.
Yeah. Every man is haunted by the question, do I have what it takes? And it's the responsibility now of a parent to answer that question throughout the stages. Okay? At your boyhood stage, it's the mom or the authority figures through love to say you have what it takes. You don't need to earn your love. When they transition into now superhero, give the casual errands. Chukua hii, fix that bulb, fix that chair. You see, you're a man. You're not a girl in a man's body. Okay? Giving him opportunities to exercise, the opportunity to answer the question, I have what it takes. So when parents overstretch the season of taking care of the child, there's a damage that's happening to that young man. When they begin to get to 12 years of age, it is in the best interest of that young man for the parent to begin to give him more responsibility and not fix his problems. So if instead of very small errands, this is how you pay for token. Yeah. Go to that shop.
Go to the shop, buy the token, come and put it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Things you can do for yourself or you can do for the child, instead of doing it on our idea, you tell them do it.
Yeah, you barely facilitate. Like, here's money, go to the barber shop.
Yes.
Get a shave, yeah?
Yes. So what that does, you're telling the young man you have what it takes.
Yeah.
You can do it. So as they move, as they advance now even to now warrior stage and lover stage, the previous stages, the kulmakwana reinforcement.
Yeah.
And we believe most what we rehearse the most.
Yeah.
And also what rehearsed most around us. So if throughout our lives you hear you don't have what it takes, both verbally and even in treatment. So when a time comes when the young man should now begin to defend himself, the question, do I have what it takes, is so loud, and the answer is no.
Okay. That's
why you find now men engaging in, I could call them casual adventures, just to answer the question, I have what it takes. But they have slept with all these women. I went to Nakuru and back in the same day. I jumped over this cliff and I got broken and I came back. I'm still here. Those are
this is my, the riders. We rode for an hour to Nakuru.
Yes.
At the speed of 200 kph.
Yes. It's an adventure, but it's more or less casual because it didn't help anyone around you. And that's why we have a lot of casual men out here.
Casual men.
Yeah.
Okay. I hear a lot of women complain that men don't have a lot of initiative. At what point is it that a man should be forced to start beginning to take care of himself? Because women say, oh, my boy is, young men will wake up, play, have breakfast. They have to be convinced to take a shower. Even to brush their teeth, they will play PlayStation the whole day. They will sit around. They will sit outside. If it's in Ushago, they'll sit outside and chat the whole day, smoking cigarettes. It seems they have no initiative to do anything. Yeah. What could have possibly gone wrong?
Masculinity is imparted. It's not nagged into the system.
Oh, I see. Imparted.
Yeah. Yeah. So the impartation, what does that mean? I can use my own life. I stayed with my uncle called Uncle Benjamin, Nyambane, for quite a number of years, who's my mom's brother. Hello. And in his home is when I get to learn what authority is. There are times I used to, okay, let me begin by staying with him. He used to wake up every morning at 4 a.m. And I used to see it. When I wake up at 4:30, I look under his door, I'm like, oh no, I'm late. And then getting to see getting to see his disciplined lifestyle. He's an IT manager in a very huge company in Kenya, but I never saw him walking around with women and playing around with people's girls. So I got to see that as my definition of masculinity. What I saw told me that men wake up early and seek God, men are disciplined, men come home early, men don't play around with women's children. Even when men have money, they still live a disciplined life. That's the definition of masculinity I grew up with. As I said earlier, we become what we behold. So for the young men, it becomes a question of what did you see growing up?
Oh my word, okay.
What answers were given, or did you invent your own answers? And sadly, young men, because of the absence of the father in the picture, they get to pick the answers as they go along, from sisters, from boys around in the neighborhood. And therefore you see a lot of men, by the time they're 25, when they should be now fighting for a young girl's heart, they're still fighting among their boys to prove a point amongst themselves.
Okay.
So that's part of the answer I'd give to what you've said.
To lack of initiative.
Yes.
Okay. So finally, because I want to bring in Anne, how did you give us the 411 of how you finally found your wife?
Okay. There's something I'd like to share here.
Oh, yeah, cool.
I think you have it over there.
Yeah, I know you brought a lot of amazing things.
Yes.
Yes.
So as you can see there, there's how life works.
Yeah.
And it starts with words produce thoughts, which become feelings, which lead to decisions. The decisions become actions that lead to habits, that lead to character, that grows, eventually leads to a destination. So I'm at this destination because of the character that was born out of habits, because of actions that were born out of decisions based on feelings, that were born out of thoughts that came out of words, and those words were spoken by someone.
Okay.
So the words that I built my life around is the word of God, through men and women of God who got to impart into me the confidence I have in life.
Okay.
The books I've read, one of them being Purpose-Driven Life. There's another one called Understanding the Power and Purpose of Men by Dr. Miles Monroe. And those are the books that really influenced me when I was asking, what is a man and who is a man? And how does a man get to know his way around? And I used to go to the library in Upper Hill. In Upper Hill, they used to charge 20 shillings. I used to read the whole day, pay for the library, and then I got to read about the fatherhood principle and so many other books that influenced the kind of words that got to redefine what I'm supposed to be. And that's how this a man's job description was born.
Okay.
Yes.
You haven't answered my question.
Yes.
How
Sorry.
did you meet Anne?
See,
and then you married her?
so now I used to...
Because
okay.
I'm about to invite Anne.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I used to mentor. I've always mentored I've been mentoring people since 2010. So over the years, I continued mentoring, and she was in a school called Thika Road Christian School. She had come to do her internship before graduating from KU. So as I was mentoring young people then, every Friday I used to go for the Bible club. So on one of the Fridays is when she got to come and join the session. She had actually come for the session before I'd arrived. And I was teaching on the pillars of wisdom. And then when I saw her, all the pillars collapsed. And that's how she's been reconstructing my heart all this time. And I believe she'll get to share her version of the story of how she really...
The pillars collapsed?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was teaching and saying the first pillar is the fear of God. And then when I walked to say hi, when I saw her, I was like, when walking back, I'm like, oh my goodness. There are people who look like this. I was shocked. I closed my laptop. We went outside to play kidogo. Kidogo, I say, let's hold our hands and pray. Of course, I had to hold her hand. So stand next to her.
You positioned yourself appropriately to hold her hand.
Yes.
Okay.
I said, let's hold our hands and pray, and then Anne will pray for us. And I loved the prayer. I held her very tightly, dismissed the class, and then started I continued the class with her in the session.
And even now the class continues?
Yes. I called her to continue coming back to
the class.
Yes.
Okay.
I remember asking her questions. I used to ask her questions, and she said something I didn't hear. But then because the answers were too short, I continued asking many more questions so she could continue talking, so I could stare at her. I still do.
Okay, we're going into a break. When we come back, we'll meet Anne. She's been aptly introduced. And I assure you, Dadas, you will not be disappointed. Anne is amazing. So we're going into a break. Grab a water, a tea, a coffee. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Dadas. Today we've been talking about masculinity and the threat to masculinity, especially when Dadas bring up young people or young men. Today, Anne, you've been aptly introduced. Tell us a bit about yourself. You are actually, it's true, you are able to, she's able to bring up down pillars, the 5 pillars of wisdom.
Yes, they collapsed at appearance.
The 5 pillars, you brought down the 5 pillars of wisdom.
Yes.
Yes, you actually, we see why you are able to bring down the 5 pillars of wisdom. Tell us a bit about yourself.
So my name is Anne Keith Ngunyi. I am a counseling psychologist who is passionate about mentoring young girls and women in our current generation, okay, and helping them cultivate beauty from the inside out.
That's wonderful.
Sorry, do you have some water? She's too hot.
I know she's hot.
Yeah,
She's brought certain.
Talk about the strength
a bit warm over here.
Yeah.
You know what I love about the two of you
Yeah.
is that the two of you have a shared vision. That's amazing. For me, that is such an amazing value add to your life, Kate, that God brought you somebody who shares a vision for training and mentoring people. Now, let me start with Anne. Anne, you are doing something with young girls. What are you doing? And I know you even have a thingy bob.
Yes, but before we get to the thingy.
The thingy bob, oh, sorry.
There's a story behind the thingy.
Yeah.
So how I started, it started in church. My parents were very supportive, actually pastors of the church I went to for all my life.
Oh, wow. So you're a church girl?
Yes, church girl,
okay,
by all means. So when I met him, he was very passionate about mentorship and mentoring young boys. And the first question he asked me is, Anne, can you help me mentor young women? Because there are levels I can't get to, but you will on my behalf. Cool. So I found that question very sobering, and I was like, yeah. That was the very first thing he said when we met that day.
Oh my God, he walked up to you and gave you work.
Imagine, can you, how?
He walked up to you and he was like, I've seen somebody who I can give work to. Eh?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's what isn't that very biblical? You were looking for a helpmate.
No, it's at the high school, I used to mentor both.
I see.
Yeah. So the things that I really wanted to tell the young women, but I'm like, if I tamper into this, it's not appropriate. You'll begin to like me. So I'm like, I need someone whose secret lifestyle is safe for the audiences I have. And so I'd had all these women in my life, but I was like, if I'm invited to speak someone and you're the person I'm introducing as my girlfriend or something, all the parents will shuku me. So it was such a need. And when I looked at her, it was my first question, because it was really something I'm passionate about.
Okay, we'll go back to Anne.
Yes.
So, because we have so much ground to cover.
Yes.
And so how did you get to Girls in Gear?
Actually, it's something that he started. It's being the visionary of StaRise Mentors. He had it in him for the longest time. And it's just that he didn't have someone to fit in that capacity to run with the girls' mentorship. So when he asked me, he used to send me devotions very early in the morning. At that time, it didn't mean much, because I was like, who's this guy who's sending me devotions early, like at 3 a.m.? I'm like, doesn't he sleep? Doesn't he even, I mean, what's happening? Like, is this him, or is he just too excited about this? What's happening? So I actually came to realize they're not forwards, and it's not like he's just chasing after me. It's actually who he is. Those are his hours. He wakes up at that hour till now, reads, studies, makes value out of what he has. So when he mentioned that to me, he showed me the big picture, and I was like, yeah, my goodness, that's what I've been waiting for the whole of my life, because I was doing mentorship still with girls separately before I met him, but I just didn't have a name for it. Yeah.
So that's how Girls in Njau was born?
Yes, that's how Girls in Njau was born.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about it. I love this prop. I'm sure it's going to be shared.
Yes.
But it's grounded, growing, grouped, giving, going.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that.
All that is geared towards helping the girl to cultivate beauty from the inside out. We have a lot of women giving undue attention to how they look on the outside, but they don't give the same effort and attention to what they are on the inside. Yeah. So they try and make up for what they're not by Botox injections, breast implants, all this makeup kind of things, just to get themselves feeling beautiful, but really on the inside there's a lot of emptiness. Yeah. There's certain symptoms that I call of the unlife, someone who doesn't have a life, and this characterizes a lot of young women out here. Desperation, you know, the urge to merge. I really want to be loved. I really want to be appreciated for who I am. You know, there is detachment. Yeah, detached from life, kind of feeling isolated, withdrawn from friends and social gatherings. Yeah, and again, another one is dependency. We have a lot of that in 21st century, in the 21st century. Yeah, women who are overly dependent, like a tick on a dog relationship. They suck the lifeblood out of whoever the host is, whether it's a man or an older woman or whatever. They're just overly dependent and too needy. Yeah. So there's this balance of because women are either seen as too much or not enough. There's that spectrum. Yeah. So the plan that I use is to help the girl see, okay, this is who I am, and I need to accept me for who I am first before I look out for someone else to accept me for who I am. Yeah. So as they do that, then they become inviting, because beauty is inviting in and by itself. Yeah. But because of how toxic masculinity, I'm sure you've talked about that, femininity has become toxic also. Yeah, because women have had to stand up for themselves because of failed masculinity. Yeah, the men around us are not just doing what they need to do. So what is a girl child supposed to do? Step up and be the man. Yeah, control the relationship, control things around, domineer relationships and all that, because the boy child is really damaged. So it's helping the girl to see, okay, this is who I am on the inside, and these are the kind of relationships I need to develop around me, and meaningful relationships for that matter. And because we are very relational beings, then we develop a very secure sense of self. And our environment is beautiful when we blossom. Yeah.
Hey.
Dear viewers, looking for a wife? Kuja catalog.
Hey, Keith.
Yes.
Keith. So I've heard what Annie is doing. So can you tell us what you are doing? Because
okay.
if you don't tell us what you are doing, and so because of that, eventually I want to, you'll tell us where these things are available. So what are you doing? Since you are the one who gives people work.
Oh yeah.
How come I don't have that one?
You do?
It's the same one. It's the same one.
Oh, is
for
it this
the
one?
men. Okay,
No,
you can
I
take
don't.
this.
Oh yeah. You should. You should give me the right documents.
The people who give people work know what.
I know. Yeah.
It's
So you're giving the. Oh, I do have this one. I do. It's
Yes,
Just
okay.
there you go.
Yes.
So now it's understanding a man's job description.
Yeah.
And I like to call it serving rather than run.
Yeah.
I serve through the initiative in King in the Making. King in the Making, and the logo is, or the tagline is, raising kings for the risen king.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Okay, so as the girl child is cultivating beauty from the inside out, I am raising kings who will marry that girl.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Phew. Okay.
Yes. Yes. So now, and we have like a roadmap we normally use, which is understanding a man's job description, under which we talk about vision, leadership, cultivation, priesthood, which is the most important, as the viewers can see on the screen, a man has a growing relationship with God. And to that, I'd like to say to the audience, if you're a man or have a relationship with a man, God does not need us to be who he is, but we need God to be who we are.
Hey, repeat that again.
God-
That's complicated, eh?
God does not need us to be who he is, but we need God to be who we are.
Cool. Yeah, I get
Okay.
it. Yeah.
So in my whole mentorship for the young men, I ensure that I really emphasize that prayer and growing the word of God is the key to unlocking all these other aspects of being a prophet and being a provider, protector, and a teacher. And this was born out of, again, watching my uncles and seeing that everything that they've accomplished, it's because of their relationship with God, because they didn't get an inheritance, they didn't get cars and houses and all those things. But as I watched them walk with God and follow the principles of the word of God, I watched them succeed. I'm like, okay, then it takes God to do all these things. And I took up the same principles, and by the grace of God, I've accomplished some things. And as I work with young men, I get to tell them, this is how you get to where.
How long is the program?
It's in phases.
Okay.
But we have a 3-week plan that works. But most parents, and I've come to realize, it's better if it's spread out, because you might find there's because of the kind of needs a person has, they might not be able to handle all the topics at a go. But we have a 3-week plan of that covers all these aspects of masculinity.
Do you group the men together, young men together, or what? How does it work?
When going for team buildings and going for hangouts, we go as a group.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the mentorship, I usually prefer to do it one-on-one,
Okay.
because the needs are individual
Okay.
and customized.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you start off like with a group, and then now you'll phase it out, like you'll call each person differently? I'm trying to understand how the program works.
Okay, so we before COVID, we used to go for a team building,
Yeah.
go to Karura and other places. We get to have a lot of fun. And then from there is when there's an activity for now breaking them into small groups. And in the small groups, there's accountability. And in those accountability groups, I get to follow up one-on-one. So it's from corporate and then smaller cells, and then follow up by one-on-one. And also have a team that we work with. I call them the StaRise captains, whom I get to work with.
And do you have the same model with the girls?
Yes, we have adopted the same model for girls. And something that we also do is integrate the program with the parents of the children and the teens, because we can make a lot of progress just between me and the girl or the woman I'm mentoring, and then her environment is toxic.
To that, I'd like to add, it's impossible to solve a problem with the same mind that created it.
That's true.
Okay, so if a parent had a certain mindset that made the daughter or son damaged, it doesn't matter how much work you do with the son. So we've come to learn must have sessions with the parents and get to update them. This is where your daughter is, this is where your son is, and this is how you could help us in what you are doing. So that's how we also go about it,
Yes, so that kind of partnership with the parent on the other side. So just to help, not to really bash them and tell them you're doing a bad job, look at how, not really, but to partner with them and tell them you're doing well on this, but we'd like you to improve a bit more on this, since there's this need that your teen or your child has, and we recommend that you step up a bit in this. If it's rewarding good behavior, if it's talking a bit more kindly to them, if it's becoming more accommodative of their gifts and talents, then that truly gets us to a good place.
Okay.
Yeah.
In case you came with some props, phones,
Yes.
old phones.
Yes.
Could you tell us what they are doing here?
Okay.
What are these old phones about? I don't want you to leave without telling, because you've carried a lot of props. I want to engage with them. What is this?
Thank you. So this used to be my first typewriter. Because and when you take what you have what it takes. So this is what I had when I was starting my journey. And I used to wake up very early in the morning and text and write devotions and send to people until the keypad used to fade out.
How tedious.
Yes. So now imagine this is pre-colonial times, before, So now,
before COVID.
Before COVID, BC.
long before COVID, LBC.
Yes, to the viewers, this is a phone, still a phone. It's now a shell, but then I used to text until the keypads get finished. But then I believed in a dream. I believed in something that I was carrying that the world needed. The poorest man in the world is the person without a dream. It's not the person without money. For a long time, I didn't have money, but I had a dream. I used to date her when I used to wear one pair of jeans every other day.
Is this true?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
How could you have accepted such low standards?
Goodness.
Oh, he had game.
Insult
No,
each other.
Oh, he had
Living
vision.
standards.
Oh, he had serious vision. That compensated for the one pair of jeans.
We can say that.
My vision tampered with the visuals.
I know. When you'd walk in
Yes.
and she'd be like, it's the same pair of jeans. But,
Yeah, but
what you're
it's
carrying,
okay.
Yes.
she forgets about the jeans.
Maze, you turn the attention to where we're going, not where we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I chose him because of where I'm going, not where we are currently.
Okay.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you migrated.
Yes.
Did
now
Anne
a friend-
help you get the next phone or what happened?
No, someone, this is now an idios. Wapendwa. Watazamaji wapendwa. Wapendwa watazamaji. Which one is-
Watazamaji wapendwa.
Watazamaji
Yani
wapendwa.
viewers that we love.
Yes, beloved viewers. So this was my first smartphone. It's an idios, and I was shocked. I'm like, oh my goodness, you can type and
I know
delete.
you can type and delete. You can type and then do, and then they go away.
Yes, and I now show this to my mentees. They're like, what's that? Is that a stone? I'm like, excuse me, these are my archives. But then, moving from Kabambe to now Android was such a transition. And I could write more devotions, and then I started a WhatsApp group with myself in it. That's how I wrote my first book. I used to just take all the notes and throw in that group, and then kazishikanisha.
What's the name of your book? Where's your book?
My book is called Understanding a Man's Job Description. It's still being fine-tuned.
Okay.
Yeah, it will be out very soon. Very
Okay.
soon it will be out, and it will be in all the stores. So that's how I moved from the Kabambe to this. My fellow young men out there. While sight is the ability to see things as they are, vision is the capacity to see things as they could be. So I've lived by vision for quite a long time. And vision has updated my sight in terms of it moved from this to this to this. And this is a letter I got from her principal from the school. She said, give and it shall be given unto you. As you gave service to the Lord, he gave you a wife. So I had a vision of one day I'm going to serve quite a large number of people. And so I found expressions for that vision. And then she joined the vision. A man, you must find what you need. You must be doing something before you request for a helper. Okay?
I love that.
Yeah.
That is so cool. You know what I love about this story is
Yeah.
we hear this,
Yes.
but I have never actually met a man who's lived it.
Yes.
I've met few men, but much, much older. But I love the fact that you are young, you are contemporary, and you are living in kids' vision. You know how we are told that a man must have a vision, then before you request. But you guys are a real illustration. How cool is that? You're a miracle right here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because many men approach women without a vision. They don't know what they are doing, yeah, and they invite girls into something that the girls don't know what they are doing, which I think for many of us creates what I call the horrible suburbia, isn't it?
Yes.
Come, let's live together, let's have 2 children, buy a car, buy a shamba, retire and die.
Yeah.
I think that's the saddest reason to be married to anyone.
Yes.
To be married to nothing, which is we're inviting you to come and just be. What do you think, Anne?
What you're saying is very true, and it's a very sad case scenario of many women out here, because the man doesn't know where he's going and what he's doing with his life. So what he does is go look for a village girl who wouldn't question much. He will just be a housewife, not ask her where the money is coming from, whatever. Just take care of the kids, like a routine kind of thing.
Like,
yes, wake up, prepare the kids, do this, do that, house chores and all that. So eventually the woman's life depreciates in value, and the woman doesn't have a sense of significance in that relationship. So cheating is very easy. Cheating is very easy.
because
Going
it can
out.
get very boring.
Yes.
Yeah, it
Yes.
can, isn't it?
Yes.
It can. I
Yes.
think suburbia gets very boring.
Yes.
Because you wake up, you do the same thing you did yesterday, you do the same thing you did yesterday. And
Yes.
eventually, I think both of you begin to hate each other because there's nothing you came together to do.
Yes.
Nothing significant,
Yes.
really, when you think about it.
Yes.
I mean, we all admire the Obamas.
Yes.
We think they're amazing.
Yeah.
But the reason the Obamas are amazing is because they lived for something much bigger than themselves. What do you think?
Yes. A man who's doing nothing needs no help. So
Absolutely.
he's disqualified from asking for a helper. Okay, imagine I'm doing nothing with my own hands, and then I request for extra pair of hands to do what?
What will I do?
So to that I'd say 3 M's: master, mission, mate. Before you've before you agree to be someone's wife or girlfriend, I'd suggest, look at his relationship with his master, which is God. Does he have a sense of direction from God? Me, these things didn't come with Anne. This is writing with Kabambes.
It's true.
So she found me in my garden doing what God had asked me to do. And she came at a point when I needed extra help to get it done. Okay? So master and then mission. What am I on earth? What am I doing on earth? What does God need me to do? So that's when the relationship becomes a natural. Most people do the opposite.
The opposite, yeah.
Where you find a mate and then you find so tufanya nini. Oh, but there's God, kuna God. There's God, eh? So Eve was not introduced. Eve did not introduce Adam to God. It's God who introduced Eve to Adam.
Who was working.
Who was working. Most people, a woman has a relationship with God and then finds a guy and then, but there's this God. I'd like to, you need a suitable son. I'll make for you a suitable son. It doesn't work. Keith had a relationship with God and then Anne was introduced to that story. As a woman out there, do not force. Anything that's forced is fake.
Hey! Okay. Before, because we've run out of time. Imagine.
Okay.
So Anne, where can you guys be found? Where, I mean, muko na info? Do you have a website? Physically?
Okay,
Yes.
at the bottom of the screen there's a number. Kituma number only keep nyakundi ni yangu.
Watume mpesa.
Yes.
Yes.
But
That's how we can be found. Anyways.
How can you be found? Yeah. Are you online?
Yes.
Okay.
Our website is under construction,
Yeah.
but we have a Facebook page.
Okay.
Under StaRise Mentors.
Okay.
We post material there daily, and you could also get our numbers. We'll share them after this.
Yeah.
So you can always contact us
Okay.
and know more about what we do.
Okay.
Yes.
yeah, Keith and Nyambane on Facebook and on Twitter.
But you're aware this is a national show, eh? This
Yes.
is not Nairobi.
Yes.
So if you are called to go to Marsabit, I hope you'll be happy to go.
She will consult.
Si ati mkuja hapa mtuchoche and then when we tell you to go to
Tunashindwa.
to munashindwa.
But
This
the
is
good
a
thing
national TV show.
But the good thing, there's Zoom, and I've also written quite a number of write-ups. So if
Okay.
I can't show up in person,
Yeah.
I can show up in my write-ups
Okay.
and in the Zoom sessions.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you have a parting shot, Anne?
Parting shot is the curse of masculinity is passivity, and the curse of femininity is insecurity.
Oh, wow.
So men, take initiative. The men listening, do what you can, whatever you can, any means you can, to be proactive, because your wife, your woman, the one that you're looking for, needs to find you doing something. Yeah. And as women, we run away from passivity and, men who don't take initiative, because that doesn't exactly portray true masculinity. And as women, insecurity really is what haunts us. So every young woman listening, know you are beautiful, know you are loved, you are worth pursuing. Keep working on yourself, keep working on your relationship with God, and you'll be in a better place. Yes.
Keith, do you have a parting shot? I don't know what you can add to that, but you can try a few things. I mean,
To the young women, God is love, and until you find God, you'll never find love. Okay? Don't try and squeeze out love out of someone who's not love. To the young men, I'd like to say this: God does not need you to be who He is, but you need God to be who you are. And it's God who will enable you to be to provide or to be the channel of love that the woman is looking for. So both of us need God, both women and men.
we have come to the end of the show.
Okay.
Please wave to this camera and say bye.
Thank you. Bye. Are we coming back again for part 2?
Yeah, you can come back for part 2. Wait,
Okay.
kids, wait. Maybe I have to close the show.
Oh.
Thank you very much, Dada. I think this has been, for me, I leave you with this thought that the curse of masculinity is passivity and the curse of femininity is insecurity. If you remember anything, remember those words. It's amazing. I'll take those and really ponder over them the following week. So have a great week. Baraka.